Hi again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Happy Saturday, I hope you are all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. We are back, we are building in Moonwood Mill. Yes, I got the name of it right on the first try, but before we get too far into the speed build, I would just like to take a minute to thank today's sponsor of this video. Today's video is brought to you by HitPaw and their amazing screen recorder that's really easy to set up and has some handy features. It's perfect for high quality screen and game recording, which is perfect if you're looking for an easy way to capture your gameplay. With a record and a live feature built into the homepage, recording your screen has never been easier. If you're looking for a really easy way to make tutorial content on YouTube or even for a class setting, the picture-in-picture feature is perfect. You can even record your webcam and write on the screen. Let's also have a look at the game capture feature. The game capture feature is also amazing because there's no complicating settings to set up. All you have to do is capture a window and click record. You can also use this feature to live stream to your favourite platform. Please feel free to check out the HitPaw screen capture today by clicking the link in the description box below. As you can see, all the products have a current saving on them at the moment, which makes it a great time to check out this amazing piece of software. Thank you once again to HitPaw for sponsoring today's video. So here we are back to our build. I decided I wanted to build a generations style family home, but for a family of werewolves instead. I've done plenty of generations themed houses on my channel previously. If you want to check any of them out, please feel free to do so. I love doing huge family houses that fit a generation style sort of gameplay into them. So for this particular house, it's 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Now you're probably thinking, well, hang on a minute, how do you fit 8 Sims there? So one of the kids' rooms does consist of 2 kids' beds and then a toddler bed as well. The master bedroom consists of like a little bassinet so that when the child ages up into a toddler, they can go into the room that I've just stated. Then the other kids' room is like a set of bunk beds, and then obviously we've got the master bedroom for the 2 parents. Then we've got a little red outhouse that you probably saw at the start of the video, and for that I envisioned like the elder werewolf of the family. That's where they reside and that's where they can get their own space, away from the grandkids, away from the rest of the family, and that was my idea. So I'm really hoping that you guys have some sort of use for this house. I spent a lot of time on it actually. I believe I started this house about 2 weeks ago. I've been on and off. I've been doing let's plays, I've been doing trailer reactions, I've been trying to do some new content for the channel so that I'm more of a well-rounded content creator. I know you guys are here for the builds, and builds will continue to be my speciality or my main focus. But I'm thinking if I can do a build a week, as I have been doing, and then in between we can do let's plays, we can do any other thing that we want to do, and then at least you're getting the regular content as well as some bonus content as well. So please let me know what your thoughts are on that down below. But the general consensus is that that's a pretty good idea. I just want to be a little bit more consistent. I want to have some sort of upload schedule. I've been talking about this for the longest time and I find it difficult because of my job in real life. I work full time and I just find it difficult, as I'm sure many other people do. So I'm just trying to work out what's going to work best for me and you all, because at the end of the day, that's you're all why I do this. And yeah, I'm gonna get all sentimental right now. I'm not even gonna delve into it, but you are the reason that I do this and I continue to do it. So I'm just trying to think of ways that I can still enjoy my content and produce regular content for you all whilst also keeping up with the builds, because as I stated before, that is why you're here. That's majority of you, that's why you're here. It's for my builds, because that's how I started. I started with speed builds and I'm just trying to branch out. Anyway, I have been talking about that for longer than I had have liked. Anyway, the exterior for this house, I don't believe I used a reference image for this, or if I did, I'll see if I can put it on screen for you now, because it might be in my archive somewhere. I've just said I don't think I used a reference image. I know full well I did. It's just worth It's been a couple of weeks, okay? It's just whether or not I can find it in the archive, because I tend to like save images and then I'll forget where I saved them because I've got an SSD and then a hard drive as well. So I'm like, where did I save this? If I can, then I will have already put it on screen for you, but that's sort of the general shape that I wanted to go for with this. The little red shack was really important to me. It's such a big lot. I think it's a 40 by 30 lot, and obviously the house itself, it's not huge, but I definitely wanted the like your Sims families, the werewolves, to have enough space outside to do various other activities. I do apologize, my throat just gargled. It's been doing that a lot recently. Oh no. Anyway, it did about 3 times during my trailer reaction video, and it seems to be doing it a lot today. I don't know if it's because I've just had a Diet Coke. That could have something to do with it. Let's be honest, it probably does. That's probably the reason that happened. Anyway, I'm really happy with this build. As I said, I spent a lot of time on it, and I'm hoping you all have some sort of use for it. I don't know how many people are playing with like a Generations family of werewolves. Are you that far into the gameplay yet? If you're not, then this could be a really, really good sort of option for housing for your Sims for your upcoming gameplay. It's got everything that you could possibly want and or need, and I'm really happy with it. As much as I've enjoyed doing the Let's Plays on the channel, builds will always have my heart. I love building in The Sims 4 so much, and it's really therapeutic for me, especially when I find a reference image that inspires me, and when I can replicate that reference image and put like my own flair on it. That's specifically when I get really inspired by it. But yeah, very happy with this. I built this house on like a body of water as well. Like, it's more like a swamp. Think Shrek. It's more like a swamp. And that was the whole idea behind this, was that it was really run down, but also the family that lives here, they've made the house their own. They do care for the house, but very similar to one of my previous builds for werewolves, it's not so much that they don't care, it's that when they're in the werewolf form, they're not going to care about interior design, they're not going to care where things are placed. So I feel like with a house like this, I just wanted to get that family friendly sort of theme across, whilst keeping in the theme of the fact that this family turns into werewolves, and they're not gonna, they don't care. They want somewhere safe and warm where they can raise their family. But the family that I had envisioned for living in this particular house was a family that definitely are probably more aware of their surroundings, I guess. And I think it's also worth noting that this is a pack restricted build as well. So I used obviously base game, cottage living, werewolves, and then I used some of like the overhang for the windows from island living. If you don't have island living, you will only be missing the overhang for the windows. So I wanted this to be a pack restricted build because it's been so long since I've done one on the channel. I've been promising you all a base game build, and I feel like I need to build a base game house when I'm feeling inspired to build a base game house, because it is a challenge when you have been spoilt with all of the packs. And as much as I appreciate that quite a lot of you will have just the base game, I sort of have to remain true to like myself and my own style as well. So I think pack restricted builds are a really good balance between the two. And as I said, it's been a while since I've done one on the channel. I believe it's been well over a year since I've done a pack restricted build, so this was really refreshing for me. I definitely had to make a conscious effort to use and not use certain items, so it was something really different for me. I can't believe I didn't mention that until now, so I do apologize. If you've already downloaded this from the gallery, then you will be aware that it's a pack restricted build. I think usually when people click on my houses, they expect to see a plethora of packs used, but I think with this one you'll be kind of surprised, because I didn't really intend to do a pack restricted build when I started this house, but as I was going along I was thinking it feels like the right thing to do. It feels like a really good time to do it. And I can't believe I haven't done a base game and werewolves build yet. It's probably going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure we're all excited for the pack that's upcoming, the high school pack, if you're aware of that. Maybe you're not, but there's a brand new high school pack coming to The Sims at the end of July, I believe, 28th of July. So I think there's a buzz around the community right now. I feel like we've just received Werewolves, and then a couple of weeks later, they've just dropped this high school pack on us. So it's like, wow, that's happening really quickly. Not that I'm going to complain too much because yay, new content. But I kind of wish they'd have held off announcing it until a little bit later, because I feel like there was still a buzz surrounding the Werewolves pack, and then now I think people have kind of switched off from this pack and they're just thinking about the upcoming pack, which I don't blame you at all. I've been doing exactly the same thing for the past 48 hours since we realised that the high school pack was coming. I'm kind of like, well, how am I supposed to play my game now? Like, we don't have high schools yet, so do I just hold off? But that's not happening for another month. So I'm just going to try and make the best of it. I'm still going to be doing builds of the Werewolves pack. I'm still going to be doing my Let's Play. I'm still going to be doing like my apartments and suburban like family houses. I'm just going to keep going on as I go on and see if I can stretch it out until the pack release. I saw somebody tweet something about, they call it something where you get like pack blues when we get an announcement for a pack and it's so far into the future. I mean, a month's a month, you know, and then it's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Am I supposed to enjoy the game for what it is now, knowing that we've got a pack as amazing as it looks coming? Like, how am I supposed to do that? Anyway, as I've been having a ramble, we have moved on to the interior. I feel like that should be a slogan for this channel because I do say that a lot. But we have started on the interior. I have worked out the floor plan already. It came relatively easily to me, considering I believe I started, well, no, I don't believe, I started the interior of this house this morning, and I was a little bit overwhelmed by it because I thought it was a lot bigger than it actually is. And when I got back into the game, it's amazing how your mind sort of perceives things and then changes things over the space of a week or two. I seem to remember this house being a lot bigger, and it was a nice surprise to realize it was probably a medium-sized house, and I just decided to fit 8 Sims in here because why not? You guys might need a Werewolves Generations home. I'm hoping you have some sort of use for it, because then if not, then this was a waste of time, wasn't it? I'm kidding. Anyway, this is the living room. I love how the living room turned out. It's quite similar to the living rooms that I've done previously in my other speed builds with the pack, but that's okay because I cannot get enough of these grungy rundown items. I think they are wonderful. I'm having a lot of fun using them, and I definitely wanted this house, as I was explaining a couple of minutes ago, to be definitely run down because they're werewolves, and I also at the same time wanted it to be very homey, very warm, family friendly, and like the family that lives here actually care somewhat about the house that they've built here or the home that they've built for their family. And I'm hoping we achieve that with this. Usually I cut out me saving the game, but I experienced a little bit of lag and it freaked me out, quite frankly, and so I just decided to save the game and I forgot to cut it out. I'm not going to go back and do it now because then that would render this voice over, or this part of the voiceover, useless, so I'm just going to leave it in there. I don't think it was going to upset anybody, but I thought it was worth mentioning. I do also use a lot of these sort of wall decor pieces to make this base game wallpaper look a little bit more run down, a little bit more grungy. My ideal situation would have been to use this same swatch and same wallpaper, but from the City Living pack, because it looks quite damp and very run down, and it already has the detailing in there, so I wouldn't have needed to maybe add as many details as I did with this pack. But with me wanting it to be pack restricted and very specific packs as well, bear in mind it's base game, Cottage Living and Werewolves. I think the Cottage Living items go really, really well with the Werewolves pack. Please let me know down in the comments below if you agree or not. Again, I've seen in the community, it seems to be a general sort of theme that people seem to think that the items go really well together, and I would have to agree, hence why we created this build. The Island Living sort of window decor items, I forgot I'd use them, me being honest. Initially, the plan was to do a base game, Cottage Living and Werewolves pack only build, and when I added those window decor pieces, I was like, I uploaded it to the gallery and I thought, oh no, I really didn't mean to do that. I think at this point, a lot of people, please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but I feel like a lot of people have island living at this point, so I really didn't think it was too big a deal. And also, I thought if you don't have island living and you don't get those, I want to say wall decor, the window decor pieces, it's not going to be detrimental to the look or the running of the build in the game. It's not going to affect it in any way at all. So I figured it doesn't really matter. Anyway, this is the kitchen. The living room is finished. This is the kitchen. The kitchen turned out really nicely. All of the rooms are a very good size. And with this particular build, I definitely wanted to make it more, I would say, gameplay friendly than I would usually go for. If you are returning to the channel, if you are used to my builds, then you may already know that I love doing cluttered builds. I know a lot of people do more cluttered builds than me, but I do tend to go quite heavy-handed with the clutter. With this build, I wanted it to be more gameplay friendly, and when I say that, I mean it's not as cluttered as a lot of my other houses, and I don't know whether you guys have picked up on that just from the living room alone, but the rooms themselves are very big, and yes, there's clutter going on in the rooms. I did enable the bb.move objects on cheat because I always do when I start these builds. I'd love to do a build challenge where where I'm not allowed to use the bb.move object on cheat, because I feel like I would struggle so much, because I love clutter. I love making houses look realistic and lived in, and I just want them to have character. And so with this house, it wasn't a challenge, because I think I was consciously thinking, okay, well, I want it to be more gameplay friendly, so don't add as many items. And because I'd already restricted myself with the packs, I feel like that kind of went hand in hand and it worked really well. Again, please let me know down in the comments below what you think. Maybe you disagree with me, maybe you don't think I've gone as light on the clutter as I normally would, but in my head I definitely did, but I don't know if that's just wishful thinking. Anyway, this house does have a separate dining room. This was really important to me because, again, it's a generations house, so it's really important that you can have all 8 Sims sit down and have a meal together, whether it's Winterfest or for a birthday or an anniversary celebration or anything like that. It was just really important to me to have this in here, and I think it worked out really well, actually. I don't normally do separate dining rooms in my houses, but when I do, I struggle with them generally, and with this one I don't feel like I struggled that much, so it was really refreshing for me to actually walk away from a build and be like, I'm quite proud of that dining room, and that was just really refreshing for me. So oh my gosh, we haven't even done the dining room yet. I got confused. Okay, I was watching the footage back and I forgot that I put a 6-seater dining table in the kitchen. So this is the dining room that we're working on here. This is the room that I love. This is the room that I'm really proud of. So please don't ignore everything that I've just said, because that's rude. I'm kidding. But this is the dining room. I've already talked about it, so I feel like I can't keep talking about it because I'll just be saying the same things over and over again. Although it's a big room, there's not too much going on in here. Again, keeping with the theme of let's keep gameplay in the back of our heads, and let's appreciate that most of you are wanting to focus on the gameplay and not necessarily on the aesthetics of things, because I feel like with me sometimes I go for, well, that looks nice over that functions, and that's not necessarily right. It's definitely not right at all. It's just the way I am, and I apologize for that, but I really hope that you guys enjoy my builds and you have some sort of use for them, because again, I do this for me. Obviously I love having a creative outlet, but I also love giving back to you guys and being able to provide you with these houses. So it's really nice to hear and to see. I say it every single speed build when you message me and you send me screenshots of my houses and your Sims living in them, and oh, you know, I changed this and I kept it just as it is because I thought it was perfect, and I've moved this family in here and they have these jobs and they have these many kids. Like, it warms my heart, it really does. And I feel like I'm getting really sentimental in this speed build. I feel like I'm really emotional at the moment. I have no idea why. Anyway, this is a little outhouse area that I envisioned the elder werewolf being in. Again, they've got their own space over here to just get away from the rest of the family. If you want to put a little kitchenette in here, you are more than welcome to do so. I just didn't, because I felt the need to put in like different objects. You might agree, you might disagree. That's the beauty about opinions. No one's right or wrong. But yes, this is sort of like the space that I had envisioned for this. If you have a particular sim in mind as to who you think would sort of occupy this little outhouse, then please feel free to make the adjustments that you need to. I say this all the time. If you download my houses and you need to change them for whatever reason, please feel free. I'm more than happy for you to do that. So yes, with this, I love this little outhouse here. I'm really glad I included it with this build, because I was going to include a garage, and then I was like, well, no, because the house itself is smaller than I had realized. So I thought this is kind of perfect, because we can fit another sim over here. You could even add an ensuite into this little outhouse. An ensuite, it won't be an ensuite. You could even add a toilet into this little outhouse if you wanted to. You could add like a little kitchenette, as I was saying. You could definitely make it sort of its own functional entity of the lot if you wanted to. But again, with it being a generations house, I wanted it to be family oriented, whilst also allowing for the Sims to have their own space when and if they need to get away from the rest of the family. So yes, just finishing this up here. I'm really happy with how it came out. Again, keeping the grungy, family-friendly feel to the outhouse as well. Just making sure that the entire theme of the house is smooth and it works fluently. I don't know whether that's the right word for this particular pack, because it's definitely not fluent. Well, no, that's not fair at all. It's definitely fluent in that it has its own item style, and it's all very matchy but not matchy. They've definitely chosen a theme and stuck with it, and I think that's what works really well with this pack. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, but if you're doing a rags to riches challenge, the items from this pack would just be so perfect. Anyway, this is the upstairs of the house. As you can see, the floor plan, it looks like it came easily to me. I assure you, when I was doing it, I was sweating buckets, because I was thinking, well, the stairs are on the right hand side of the house. How on earth am I going to make this work? But then I was like, well, hang on a minute, we're doing pack restricted build, and remember, Rach, you're trying to do gameplay friendly. So I thought, well, if the bedrooms are a little bit bigger than my sort of usual houses, then that kind of works, because the bigger the better. The more space that you have and your Sims have to roam, then the less issues you are going to encounter. So I just ran with it, and then as soon as I realized that, it's like the weight was lifted from my shoulders, and I was like, yes, here we go. I can just crack on and do whatever I need to do. This is the master bedroom. I don't usually like my master bedrooms. If you're returning to the channel, you already know this. If you are new here, my master bedrooms, they're not the best. Kids' bedrooms, I'll nail them all day long. I think they're amazing. I have so much fun doing them. You can clutter them up. You can make them really fun. Master bedrooms, not so much. We have a very love-hate relationship. I either do amazing master bedrooms, or they're really, really like rubbish. There's no sort of in between for me, I don't think, but this is probably one of my better ones, and I think it's because of the sort of like grunginess of the items from the pack. They're very loose and you can just sort of do whatever you want to do. This is the twin children's room. I initially was going to put a bassinet in here, but I ended up moving that into the parents' room, and then I put a toddler bed in the twin kids' room, so that again you can put 8 Sims in this house if you want to. So it's very deceptive. I feel like maybe when you look at the thumbnail, you'll be thinking, 8 Sims? Really? Are you sure? I assure you, you can fit 8 Sims in here, but please, again, configure this house to whatever your needs might be. I'm more than happy for you to do that. This room is slightly on the smaller side. It's very small, but everything is functional, and your kids' Sims have everything they need to have in here to fulfill all of their needs. So I feel like that's what's most important. And I know I've just been talking about rooms being slightly bigger than normal for gameplay and such, but they're not all going to be big, and I just feel like this is one of the smaller ones, and that's okay because everything can still fit and everything's still functional. So I really like it. Again, just adding some of the decor pieces from the Werewolves pack onto the wall, the cracks, the smashes and the scrapes all down the wall where your werewolf sims have probably punched a wall or scratched a wall or whatever. This is the twin children's room that also has a toddler bed. So this house, in my opinion, is just perfect for all age ranges. You know, babies, toddlers, children, sorry, teens, young adults, and then of course elders. It just ticks all of the boxes, and that's what's really important for a generations house as well. It's so important to tick all those boxes. But yeah, this room is huge, and that's why I decided to put 2 beds in here as well as a toddler bed, because there's definitely room for it. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, not really going with a theme or a color scheme, but more going for like the grungy rundown look. But I will leave you guys here. Like, you can breathe a sigh of relief. We are about to finish the video, but you can get this house from the gallery right now. My origin ID, of course, is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from Sim File Share. And I would like to once again thank HitPaw for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. But you all take care, and I will see you next time I post a video. Bye.